Google. Let's go get them again.
What's going on, fragrance family? Welcome to Sampling Samples Sundays. This series is where I wear a scent as much as the little sample lets me. It is going to be my scent of the day today, and I'm going to give you as much detail as I can and give you my final thoughts on if I'll be buying this fragrance, getting another sample, or simply this is the end of the road for the scent. Today's little sample is from a Lucky Scent, and I'll be testing a Nasomatto fragrance, which is one of my favorite brands of all time. This scent called the Blamage. Now, I'm a huge Nasomatto fanboy, so it may surprise a lot of you watching this video that I never blind bought this thing nor smelt it. This sample is actually from 2020, and when I wanted to sample it to see if I was going to get a bottle or not, today we're going to find out those results. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. It was released back in 2014. Concentrations extrait de parfum, and the nose is Alessandro Galtieri. The major notes to my nose, and as you may know, Nasomatto doesn't publish notes, so it's a guessing game. White woods, birch, and musk. As I stated earlier, it is my scent of the day, but we are going to finish off or drain this little Lucky Scent sample on my hand to remind me of this introduction. So see you later, Blamage. So, very interesting composition. With a lot of Nasomattos, that's pretty much the first words that come out. Right off the bat, Blamage comes off very thin, surprising. I was thinking this may be a huge woody scent, looking at the bottle presentation and all that, but alas, I'm getting met with fruity tones right off the bat. To me, I know a lot of reviews say peach. I'm gonna go with an apricot. To me, the apricot here is the fruity tone than a peach. There's some white florals here. I'm thinking magnolia. Magnolia gives scents fruity, sweet, vanillic, champagne-like qualities, and all of those are in this particular fragrance. The opening of this release is clean, fruity. There's some soft woods backing it. There's some sweet vanillic tones backing it also. The opening of this doesn't really, it reminds me of Effin' Fabulous by Tom Ford because I came in expecting something ridiculous from the scent. You know, the name, the bottle, the nose behind it, everything. It kind of Effin' Fabulous. It kind of went into that one going, you know, it's much safer than I figured. This is where this one comes in. This fragrance does show me complexity, like Effin' Fabulous, but it has like beige and white colors to it. If I have to put colors to this particular fragrance, I would have to go beige and white. This is where the opening of Blamage kind of brings me. Of course, there's some fruity tones, so there's some watercolors here, but the woods here that I expected to be big and bold, they're there. And really the woods that I'm getting from this one are soft sandalwood with some birch, of course. There's a waxy quality here. Some say iris is in this release. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a waxy quality here, a soapy quality. There's a little bit of a greenness here, mildly green. It's very fresh. There's some vanillic sweetness in this release, but don't forget those woods. There is a lot of woods in the background of this release. They're not as big and bold as I thought, but they do make this fragrance. And I know a lot of people, when you mention fruits, florals, as main components of an opening of a scent or of a scent, you probably lost 90% of men watching my fragrance reviews. However, for me, I think that's a mistake. It depends on, of course, your palate and where you are in your journey. For me, fruity scents don't scare me. And it's not hugely floral to me. Of course, there's that magnolia and that iris component in this release. But I think this fragrance is hugely unisex, and I think it's because of those soft woods in the background hiding in the shadows. But there's also like an industrial, almost comme des garçons kind of like feel to this fragrance. So it's very interesting, and that's where I gravitate. I think if it lost that industrial comme des garçons feel in this release, it might have lost me. Now, in the heart of Blamage, you still get that apricot. Surprisingly, that fruity nuance never really left. I thought I was gonna lose that one early, but never did. It hung on. The vanillic tones here come up a bit, actually. There's a very much a beautiful vanillic tone here. It comes up a bit. There's a light suede-like leather, and I know a lot of reviews talk about this leather, this, leather, that. And this fragrance is not overly leathery. Don't think smokiness. I know the birch and leather do that smokiness. It's a little bit of it, but there's not that much. I felt like the leather cord here was more suede-like than rough and tumble. And it has a component in the release in this fragrance, but it's not a huge component. The woods take shape more into this dry down, takes over as a secondary role, almost kind of taking over where the floral started. So you still have that fruity nuance, and of course you got the usual Gualtieri musks that amp up in the background, that industrial type of feeling. At the end of the day, this fragrance is not for everyone. Blind buy worthy? I don't think so, especially for the price and the amount of juice you're getting. There's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna pass on this. But if you do like artistic fragrances, it may not be your favorite in your bunch. It's not gonna be my favorite Nasomatto, but it is a very interesting Nasomatto. Now let's take a look at Seasons, Day, Night Versatility and Performance. Let's start it off with Seasons. I think this is a tweener, fall, spring. I feel it will do well, especially with the tricks that it's playing on my skin, especially with this little sample. I don't think those Lucky Scent samples was enough for this particular fragrance, an artistic fragrance like this. There's some complexities there, and I'd like to test it more. But I feel like spring and fall will do well with those tricks more than a summer and winter fragrance. Day or night, I think this one would go either way. Versatility, I think, is fairly high on this one. Yeah, I don't see any occasion that I wouldn't be able to wear this. Performance, longevity was 7 to 9 hours. Some would say that might be weak for an Nasomatto release. You could be correct. With high projection. So as far as performance goes, even though it got a pretty good score here, I feel that I'm a little low than what other people, and it might just be the amount of fragrance that I had. Having a bottle may be different as far as performance goes. So we got to keep an eye on that, but mine's a little lower than other people's scales that say this is a beast. I didn't see beast mode here. I saw more really good performance. At the end of the day, the scent reminds me a little bit of the early days of Comme des Garçons. It has that twist, almost industrial-like, very interesting. And that's where Comme des Garçons really kind of worked with frag heads, is that, oh, this was a really interesting release, and this is where this came from. And of course, with Nasomatto, that's where they are. They are artistic. It does remind me, I wouldn't say not in composition. It's not almondly like a Tom Ford fucking Fabulous, but I thought I was gonna get something crazy like Effin' Fabulous. This one was an interesting scent dressed up as a safe scent, if that makes sense. It's a scent upon first sniff that I battled myself a little bit wearing it. I was intrigued more and more about this release on my second wearing, because on first wearing, I was like, oh, is this really for me? I don't know. Am I going to purchase this one? I might pass on this one. But on second wearing, which was, of course, today, I was intrigued more and more about the scent, and I want to discover it more. And I feel like now that the sample is drained, I want more of it. So since I had this sample for quite a while, I've gotten a bottle of Blamage, so I'm actually looking forward to unboxing it shortly on my channel and start delving into the scent even more. So I'm happy to announce that I did get a bottle. It's going to be on the channel. You're gonna see a few of these sampling samples, just as an FYI, if you're an avid Robes 08 channel viewer and you're seeing a lot of sampling samples, especially in the next several. This is just old samples from 2020, 2021, and I wore them once or twice, and now I got a bottle. So you're gonna see a little bit of those. To note, if you are a fan of Nasomatto and you're interested in this scent, and this is something I'm going to be doing, is there is a documentary on Blamage. I knew that there was one when it first got released, but I never was interested in this fragrance for that time period for some reason. So I need to watch that, but I think it would be an excellent watch for any frag head that likes the brand of Nasomatto and maybe get to know Crazy Nose, as he likes to get called. So at the end of the day, I have to kind of give this one a score, and I think it's going to be a higher score just because of my interest. After I drained The sample, I have to give this score of a high 8, possibly a 9 for Blamage. Of course, I got the bottle. So that may move up once I start wearing it more when I do my full-fledged review. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. As always, a great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube.